Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today in this video we are from group 3 will be explained to you about mnemonic learning for innovation in education. They are all member of group, and our content today we have identification of problem, the consequence of problem to target group, impact of innovation to the target group, the list of innovation, mnemonic learning, and the last is analyzing the innovation.
Alright, the first material is identification of problem. The root of the problem in the classroom is that students have difficulty learning the material with the teacher's explanation. Example, in high school math class, many students struggle to understand algebra concept, even the teacher's detailed explanation and use of a whiteboard. But students frequently fail quizzes and express confusing during practice session. This indicates that the current teaching method is not effectively reaching all learners.
Okay, the next is the consequence of problem to target group. The first is ineffective learning activities, leading to poor academic performance and a lack of essential skills. And the second is students feel lazy to follow the learning flow. Decreased motivation and participation can result in lower engagement, missed learning opportunities, and a decline in overall academic achievement. And last is teachers have difficulty guiding students during learning. Teachers may find it challenging to provide individualized support, leading to a less effective learning environment.
Next material is impact of innovation to the target group. For the first is student will easily understand the learning material. By using the mnemonic method of singing technique quiz, the teacher creates songs that contain key concepts in the learning material. So, it is through songs that students can quickly comprehend new material with the songs they sing. The next is student will easily remember what the teacher has said. By having material with songs that are constantly playing in their minds, students will more easily remember what the teacher has conveyed. And the last is learning in class will be more fun when interpreted with singing. Using the singing learning method will make the class atmosphere more fun and interactive. Students can enjoy the learning process while singing together and creating a positive bond with the lesson material.
Okay, for next material is the list of innovation. For the first is mnemonic learning or singing learning. Mnemonic learning refers to technique quiz and strategies that aid in information retention and recall by using association, visualization, rhymes, or the memory aid. Mnemonic technique quiz can be useful for memorizing lists, sequence, fact, formulas, or other information that may otherwise be challenging to remember. Number 2 is game-based learning. Game-based learning refers to integrating educational content or learning objective into games or game-like environment. It is an approach that leverages motivational aspect and engaging game aspect to enhance the learning experience. Number 3 is project-based learning. Project-based learning is an instructional approach that involves students investigating problems or challenge over an extended period. In project-based learning, students work individual or in group to investigate a complex question or problem or challenge that is relevant to their lives or the real world. Number 4 is problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is an instructional approach that uses real-world problems or challenges as the starting point and motivator for acquiring new knowledge and skills. In problem-based learning, students work collaboratively to identify and research issue, generate hypotheses, and develop potential solutions to complex, open-end problems. Okay, the next slide is mnemonic learning definition. The use of a mnemonic learning as an innovation here is making it easier for students to remember learning material and better understand the teacher's explanation through singing, and to that students are not bored during the lesson.
The next material is about advantage and disadvantage about using mnemonic learning techniques. The first is the advantage of using mnemonic learning techniques. The first is enhanced memory retention. Mnemonic can improve memory recall by associating new information with familiar concept or vivid imagery. The second is efficiency. They offer a systematic approach to memorization, saving time compared to rote learning. The third is versatility. Mnemonic can be tailored to individual learning styles and preferences, making them accessible to a wide range of learners. The fourth is long-term retention. Mnemonic learning technique can facilitate the transfer of information from short-term to long-term memory, aiding the retention. And the last is creative engagement. They encourage creativity and imagination, making learning more enjoyable and engaging. The next is the disadvantage using mnemonic learning technique. The first is dependency. Relying solely on mnemonic device may hinder the development of other memory strategies and critical thinking skills. The second is limited applicability. Mnemonic learning technique may not be suitable for all types of information, especially complex or abstract concepts. The third is initial time investment. Creating effective mnemonic device require time and efforts, which some learners may find challenging. The fourth is potential for distraction. Elaborate mnemonic learning techniques could overshadow the actual content being learned, leading to confusion or information overload. And the last is retention decay. While mnemonic can improve short-term memory recall, their effectiveness may diminish over time if not reinforced through regular review. I think that's all for our group presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nah, tapi sebelumnya ada yang tahu nggak part of speech itu? Nggak ada. Lumayan parah ya. Part of speech itu jadi sebuah kata-kata yang mempunyai role atau bagian di sebuah kalimat dalam bahasa Inggris. Nah, part of speech-nya itu ada berapa? Nah, jadi part of speech itu dibagi menjadi 8 bagian. Apa saja itu? Jadi bagian itu adalah pancawit. Ada yang tahu pelajaran dari pancawit apa itu? Oke, jadi panjangan dari pancawit itu sendiri yaitu P-nya itu pronoun atau kata kerja, kata ganti, maaf, A-nya adjektif atau kata sifat, N-nya noun, kata benda, J-nya conjunction atau kata hukum, A-nya adverb atau keterangan, P-nya verb atau kata kerja, I-nya interjection kata seru, dan yang terakhir yaitu P-nya preposition atau kata depan. Wah, dua ada preposition. Saya ini lumayan susah untuk diingat. Jadi gimana pertanyaannya? Sulit nggak? Ini. contohnya lagu yaitu seperti ini. Program kata ganti, adjektif kata sifat, noun kata benda, conjunction kata hubung, adverb kata rangan, verb kata kata, interjection kata seru, preposisi kata depan. Nah, jadi lagunya seperti itu. Kalian bisa ikut bernyanyi ya sama Bapak.
Asik. Yuk, saya hitung ya. Hitung 3. 1, 2, 3. Roman kata ganti, adjektif kata sifat, noun kata benda, conjunction kata hubung, adverb kata rangan, verb kata kerja, interjection kata seru, preposition kata depan.
Nah, jadi itu adalah bagian dari Pancaklik. Terus apa sih Pak contoh dari bagian-bagian ini?
Nah, oke, kita ke yang pertama ya, pronoun. Pronoun itu kata ganti. Contohnya yaitu I, you, he, they, he, she, it, she. Ikuti Bapak ya. They are students. Oh, yang bawahnya. He studies every day. Ini artinya yang nomor 2 apa sih? He studies every day. Wah, saya juga. Tapi kayak she kan ya?
Yes, she.
Nah, pronoun itu yang ini guys, yang they dan he ini. Biasanya merujuk ke orang. Seperti ini. Kalau Yayu itu kan dia atau she? Nah, bagus. Oke, lanjut.
Nah, untuk yang kedua yaitu adjektif atau kata sifat. Itu contohnya ada seperti funny, happy, angry, calm. Dan untuk contohnya dalam kalimat itu yaitu yang pertama, he is angry with me. Yang kedua yaitu Bobby is very handsome just like his father. Jadi untuk kalimat pertama ini dari kata sifatnya itu bisa diambil kata angry atau artinya apa angry? Marah. Jadi di sini artinya yaitu he is angry with me, yaitu dia marah denganku. Jadi kata angry ini merupakan kata adjektif atau kata sifat. Kedua kalau dia itu marah. Nah, terus untuk selanjutnya yaitu
Selanjutnya itu ada noun. Nah, noun itu ada di sekitar kita guys. Contohnya itu ada table, chair, book, dan lain sebagainya. Itu yang kalian duduk itu apa namanya? Chair. Tapi itu ada itunya. Berarti apa? Table. Contohnya nomor 1, my laptop crash. My laptop crash and I lost all my files. Di sini ada kata benda yaitu laptop. Terus 2, I buy a coffee. Ini artinya apa guys? Nah, jadi noun itu kata benda lah guys ya. Sangat simpel. Oke, lanjut.
nah, terus selanjutnya yaitu jadinya conjunction atau kata hubung. Contohnya seperti and, or, but, preposisi. Untuk contoh dalam kalimat yaitu di sini ada kalimat Bobby plays music but he can sing. Atau artinya Bobby bermain musik tetapi dia tidak bisa nyanyi. Oke, kedua yaitu would you like some pizza pasta. Nah, di sini ada or di sini sebagai conjunction bahwa sebagai pembeda antara pizza atau pasta. Kalau kalian suka pizza atau pasta.
Oke, lanjut kita ke adverb. Adverb di sini keterangan guys. Contohnya slowly, every day, tomorrow, dan lain sebagainya. Contohnya I went to the cinema last week. Ayo coba, ulang yuk. Adverbnya yang mana guys? Artinya apa? Yang kedua ini di sofa. Jadi ini keterangan pelengkap kalimat lah kalau gitu ya guys. Oke. dan Pak Deis cukup untuk minggu ini.
Untuk selanjutnya, untuk minggu depan kita belajar tentang verb, yaitu verb, interjection, dan preposition. Dan untuk minggu ini kita cukup belajar 5 terlebih dahulu karena waktunya sudah habis.
Oke, jangan lupa kayaknya sudah habis ya. Iya. Ya udah, kalau gitu saya dan Pak Deis pamit dulu. Salam.